Hi, Lyssa here. So in today's coaching video, I want to discuss core competency 5, which is maintains presence. And I'm going to just read you real quickly the definition. I think it's just very illuminating. The definition is fully conscious and present with the client, employing a style that is open, flexible, grounded, and confident. And there are 6 indicators of this. Remains focused, observant, empathic, and responsive to the client. Demonstrates curiosity during the coaching process. Manages one's emotions to stay present with the client. Demonstrates confidence in working with strong client emotions during the coaching process. Is comfortable working in a space of not knowing. And creates or allows space for silence, pause, or reflection. And I think these really come up in many ways because these are the things that are sometimes so hard to do. I don't know if you've ever been in that place where the silence starts to feel like somebody needs to say something. We're not that comfortable with silences. And yet it's in the silence that our clients are processing. In fact, I just had a conversation with some students last night, and I was saying, what is going on in the silence here right now? And somebody came back with, I'm just really processing this new way of thinking, right? And so silence is often the way that we indicate that we're processing through and noodling over something. And yet, as a coach, it can be really uncomfortable when you're not saying anything, nor is the client. And I think one of my friends, BJ, talks about the way that we lay out our questions with the preamble, the amble, and the postamble. And it's a bit of this idea of trying to explain our question before we ask the question and then make it okay that we've asked the question. And the invitation and presence is really, how do I just confidently ask the question? The client is going to do whatever they need to with the question that I asked. They can answer the question. They can ask us to change the question. They can answer a different question. I mean, anything is possible. But if we're coming from that space of curiosity, when we're fully engaged in listening deeply to what the client is saying and listening for those powerful emotions and doorways into what might be the deeper issue, our questions are going to naturally flow out of that if we're really present with our client. I see a lot of coaches, especially when they're working on mentor coaching and they're getting their coaching conversations recorded, all of a sudden we go into performance mode. I have to ask the right question. We may be kind of stacking our questions in our minds so that when the client says something, this is the question I'm going to ask. But the question may or may not even relate to what the client just offered us. So really having that sense of being present with your client, fully engaged in listening and bringing your curiosity fully forward. And let me find it real quick. I've got it right here. When I think about maintaining presence at a PCC and ultimately at an MCC level, there are these words like completely joined. And it is really that you're fully engaged in this co-creative process. You're not trying to lead it. You're holding your curiosity on behalf of the client, but you're really demonstrating this deep curiosity without a worry about performance, around letting go of whether it's a good question or a bad question, and know that if you can trust in yourself, trust in this moment and in your listening, that the right question often just comes out of your curiosity of what you're hearing, about the disconnect between 2 things that the client might offer. What's between those 2 things that I hear you saying? How do you determine which of these 2 things is the place that you lean more towards, right? These questions that come out of what's been offered. And I think there's also this element of the coach offers less in some ways than the client. The questions are really there to ignite the client's internal awareness, evoke awareness, right? And so as the coach, we ask the simple, concise question that comes out of what we're hearing and where our curiosity is being drawn, but allows the client most of the floor to explore. So somebody said, and I don't remember who it was, that I was listening when I was listening to a lot of coaching demonstrations on my own journey to MCC. Somebody said, coaching is when mastery is when you're not afraid to ask a question that might get you fired. And I don't know if I 100% agree with that. But on the other hand, I think if it's coming from that deep place of being fully present with another human being, really being engaged in curiosity with them, that those really more important questions, the more useful questions that invite them to look, self-reflect and explore what's between where they are now and where they want to go, that being unafraid to be there is really important. And also, I think the last element of presence that I think is so important is this idea that you are the student of your client, that it is their journey and that they are the expert in themselves. And so what we want is for them to teach us about them. So I hope this is useful. I hope you find it helps you with your own maintenance of your presence in your coaching conversations. And I look forward to seeing you on a video again soon.